A years-long cemetery mystery in Lafayette's leaving some families uncertain about their final resting place. Last night, City Council approved a plan to address the problem. It involves asking a lot of folks to come up with a plan B for their burial. Our Evan Krugel explains.
A lot of family buried here in Lafayette.
On the west side of the Lafayette Cemetery sits a gravestone with two words clearly printed.
It says, Ortega together forever. That's what my father wanted. He wanted me to be buried with him.
It's why Jim Ortega purchased two plots here,
That's correct.
just feet away from his mother and father.
My plot is here and my wife's is here.
Jim has spent the past 43 years thinking this is where he'd rest.
Yeah, I thought I had real estate here.
That changed last fall.
In September 2025, during a routine burial, the city, as they were digging, encountered human remains that were not expected to be there.
The city shut down all burials here and has since learned the cemetery has less space than city records show.
It is a much smaller number than any of us would like it to be.
Council member Kyle Bollier says that means dozens of people own plots that may not actually exist.
And so all that has led to being a very full cemetery with, unfortunately, hundreds of plots still outstanding.
Tuesday night, Kyle and other council members unanimously approved a plan giving families with plots four choices. They can sell the plot back to the city, relocate to a different cemetery in Louisville, be cremated and buried, or take the risk of a traditional burial that could be stopped if human remains are found.
It is possible, and in some cases likely, that when digging we may hit. We won't dig and explore if it's very clear that the plot is full, but if it appears open, we absolutely want to make that happen.
You know, it's just not right.
Jim wants to know before he's buried whether there's room here.
They won't allow us to dig, they won't let us do anything.
You could physically hand dig 5 acres, but you would desecrate all of these many graves, and so we're not going to do that.
Jim still hopes to be laid to rest here,
Yep.
but says not knowing if his plot is taken is anything but restful.
I'm not sleeping at night because of this. It breaks my heart.
Now, people who own plots at the cemetery have until January 31st to choose which option they want to pursue. Again, if they choose a casket burial, they'll need to have a backup plan in place in that event that they dig into the ground and that spot they thought was empty is already taken. Kyle.
Maybe this is a dumb question, but there's nothing that exists in the technological space that would allow them to go out and survey these individual plots just to give people some peace of mind?
They've done that surveying underground. The problem is it shows there's something there, but it doesn't show what it is. It could be a tree root. It could be an old piece of metal. It could be human remains. Unfortunately, the only way to know for sure is to dig into the ground, and they don't want to have a prairie dog hole situation where there's 500 holes across this cemetery, so they're waiting until people pass to physically dig into the ground to see if those spots are truly available.
Wow, as a sad and fascinating situation. Evan Krugel, thank you.